They think they're controlling the narrative, but what they don't realize is they're just a cautionary tale in your next masterpiece. And Oscar Wilde said that it's very important that we forgive our enemies because nothing annoys them more. This is a very powerful way to undermine their influence and cause them frustration rather than letting their actions fester within you. We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. And this is a philosophical statement suggesting that everyone faces hardships and struggles, the gutter. But some people, you, are able to maintain a sense of hope and aspiration by focusing on something greater, the stars. If some of you are feeling a lack of hope right now, there's also a message here that it's because you're about to have a massive level up. I call this the boomerang analogy, the pullback, then the release. What do we have at the foundation, please? And there we are, the star at the foundation of the reading, Aquarius energy. So this is confirming that everything I channeled through at the beginning of the reading was right on target. You need to have a laser point focus on the goal here. You're very close to something. I feel it. I see it. I hear it. What I mentioned about the pullback and then the release is exactly what I'm picking up here for you. Right now, you're in that energy where you're in the pullback or you feel a kind of dip in your energy. Things might be falling apart, but this is the universe preparing you for the rebuilding of your life in this new chapter that is preparing to begin for you. There's not a single card that would have been more suitable than to get the star, given the fact that I'm picking up messages that are directly connected to it. There's going to be a renewed sense of hope that begins to flood through. I just heard in the coming months, I'm seeing 3, 6, and 9 in my mind's eye. Take that as it fits and what makes most sense in accordance to where you are on the timeline. And because of all of this, Taurus, a lot is being exposed to you. You know, when we're closing out karmic cycles in our life, we're often faced with the final monster, the final demon, the final enemy at the closing of the chapter, at the closing of the level, before we step up into the new level, which really suggests that a lot is being illuminated in and around your life, things that you didn't even realize were there. And Taurus, one of the downloads that I got before the reading was that you are being tasked with becoming God. You are God. He said it himself. We were all made in his image. We all have the potential to become God in our own life. Do we all do this? No. A very small percentage of people are actually able to accomplish this. But what does it truly mean to be God in your own life? Well, I believe that it means that you're able to complete your mission as a means to fulfill your destiny in this life cycle. You become the center of your own universe in this particular life cycle. Comes with tremendous struggle, but you also understand that, like the prophets that came before you, they laid out a perfect blueprint how you're to go about moving. I just heard all the answers that you seek, Taurus, are already within you. It's your exterior environment that is trying to hide this from you. You have been placed into this maze to confuse you so you don't focus on what's truly important and what truly matters in your experience here. What do we have? The sacral? 8 of Wands, Sag energy at the sacral. Taurus, I feel that there's individuals in your life right now that are trying to trigger a reaction out of you, but you're being advised here to give them nothing. Take no part in the fruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. Do not entertain their words, do not argue, do not engage. Call them out for what they are. Darkness feeds on attention. Starving of reaction is what destroys it. I'm also picking up something here in regards to a plot that has been unleashed against you, where there's a particular individual or individuals doing things behind the scenes, but then they try to inject this narrative that it's you that's actually doing it. So say they've formed weapons against you in some capacity. After doing so, they push this narrative that you formed weapons against them. And the whole purpose of this is to get ahead of any sort of damage control should you find out it's them. But it's pathetic. I feel like this person has been orbiting your life like some obsessed satellite. Meanwhile, you've been working on yourself. Some of you have built a whole new career, and you're turning pain and struggle into purpose, while they're stuck in this endless loop of fixation and chaos. And you have to understand that people like this thrive on conflict because they have nothing else going on. No real passion, no fulfilling purpose, just this constant need to stir the pot and latch onto someone else's energy. It's like they're feeding off the drama, because without it, they'd have to face the emptiness of their own life. But the fact that they're still invested in your every move, for some of you I just heard years later, is embarrassing. It just proves that they're clearly stagnant while you're thriving, and that is what's driving them nuts. But you have to understand, you won. You've moved on. You've elevated, and they're still crawling around in the same low-vibe mess they've always been in. Let them lurk. Let them waste their time. Meanwhile, you're out here living rent-free in their head while making moves. That is the true power. And this is exactly what I'm getting from this Eight of Wands, because see how you're throwing it back, right? You're not allowing these attacks or whatever it may be to latch onto you, which I feel is just saying that you're not reacting to it. Instead, you're transmuting it, right? Like we said, you're controlling the narrative by turning all of these attacks, all of this struggle, all of this pain into your next masterpiece. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Sun and the Chariot. So success and victory. I just heard material happiness and blessings are coming your way, because this approach that you're taking on is how you win at life. You understand that there's principalities at play here. Yes, it may be literal people, but make no mistake, they're being controlled by something that they don't even understand, because they have been living their life in a specific way that made them a willing vessel for this possession, for this principality, to control them, to stop you from progressing any further on your path towards enlightenment and evolution as a means to extract wisdom to impart on those you come in contact with on your path. What do we have at the solar plexus? Five of Wands, Leo energy at the solar plexus. Perfect. So the Five of Wands in the upright position is representing the obstacles, the challenges that these individuals have been trying to put on your path. But in reverse, this is you transmuting all of this, harmonizing this energy, taking all of this struggle and molding it into a beautiful creation, which, like we already established, is the last thing that they could ever possibly imagine you doing. It's what they fear most. This is what undermines their influence and causes the most frustration. I feel that there's individuals in your energy that think that they have some sort of unresolved issues with you. These could be people that you haven't seen or spoken to in years, and then all of a sudden they just get this idea because you're doing better in your life that they've got some issue with you. Or maybe they've created this narrative that you've got an issue with them because you're succeeding. It's like your success is somehow stirring up the demons inside this person, but the only reason why those demons are becoming unsettled is because they're starting to realize that the vessel that they have possessed has failed them. You've been through the ringer. I can feel it, but you're still standing. You've held on to faith. You've held on to hope. Everything that you've had thrown at you wasn't enough to take your happiness away, to take your joy away, which means that you have found a happiness and joy in areas of your life that most don't have. And that's within your connection to spirit, your higher self, the divine. I just heard you're devoted. You understand the assignment. You know that when you are on the path to enlightenment, there's no such thing as a smooth path. It's a war. Sure, peace and love is typically what's on the other side of all this, but it comes in waves. You understand this now. You get it. Half the time, we're spent fighting these principalities or whatever it may be that's coming up against you on your path, and the rest of the time, we're spending in peace, building ourselves back up and preparing for the inevitable, that something more will always come. Life, in and of itself, is a kind of war zone. We're all sent down here on a mission to fight a spiritual battle that we can't even see, which is what makes it so difficult, which is why so many people fail at this mission, but not you. You are a part of an elite group of individuals that truly get it, or enough of it, right? But what separates you from the rest of them is the fact that you're open to the interpretation of what life actually is. It's ever expanding. And that alone is why you're being positioned to lead in this space, because you're open. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. The armor is your clarity, discernment, and refusal to be deceived. Spiritual warfare is real, and you're right in the middle of it, but you've already disarmed them for refusing to play their game. They thought that they can manipulate you, but they failed. What do we have at the heart, please? Hangman, Pisces energy at the heart. This is representing this perspective that you're having over this situation. This is representing your connection to the divine, to source, and the vantage point that you are being given over your life. And I just heard you are being given access without even asking for it into the lives of these individuals. Now, what does this mean? Well, what I'm hearing here is that you may have a thought about these individuals that have been coming against you, an idea. You may have a vision of what's going on in their life or where they're going to end up. And I feel that is the universe gifting you with a little insight into what may be taking place in their life. A lot's caught up with these people. It's taken time. For some, it's taken years. It usually does. Karma is not something that happens overnight. It's slow, it's grinding, it's meticulous, and it's genius. But for a lot of you, I just heard it's reaching a plateau, meaning that there's something significant about what's taking place right now. It's like not seeing somebody for a really long time, maybe an enemy or something. Maybe you see them out somewhere, or maybe their social media accounts come across your path somehow, and it's like you can't even recognize the person. There's something different. It's like they're spiritually vacant. And in that moment, you just think to yourself, wow, all of that evil that they injected into the collective is finally coming back on them. Nobody can escape this. And the thing is, the people who think that they are exempt are the ones who get hit the hardest. I'm hearing something about an individual who created a lot of havoc, a lot of misery in your life and many other people's lives. This person was trying to claw their way to some sort of fame or success, stepping on skulls to position themselves, is going to live a very long, very miserable, very lonely life for what they have done to you and others. This person's not going to get out that easy. You know, a lot of people question when narcissists get their karma, and usually it's spread out over a lifetime. Spirit wants them, needs them to suffer inside of that space as a means to get them to learn their lesson, so maybe they remember in the next lifetime what they did in the previous one. I'm also hearing something about some sort of common tactic that guilty people will use to try and make the victim, that being you, feel guilty. This is called DARVO, deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. Now, an example of this is when you know somebody's doing something and that person approaches you and says, do you think I did that to you? Right? They're asking you if you think they did it. This is a form of gaslighting or a kind of feigned innocence. It's a manipulation tactic where a guilty person is trying to avoid accountability by flipping the question onto you, the victim. And this is a tactic that they use to try and force you to second guess your own judgment rather than confronting the reality of what actually happened. And this hangman with these crows right here is telling me that you're starting to see this now. You're starting to recognize this. You're starting to actually bear witness to when people are using these tactics against you. And the crows are representing your connection with source and spirit. The crows are bringing you the eyes to see. What do we have at the throat, please? Wow. Judgment right at the throat. And I just mentioned second-guessing judgment. Okay, I'm hearing something here surrounding these individuals trying to inject narratives into the ethers, essentially trying to rewrite, well, history is what it comes down to avoid judgment. They're essentially refusing to self-examine. In other words, they're doubling down. I just heard that they'd rather take it to their grave than surrender. I'm also hearing something about this person's ego. There's this false sense of self that they're clinging on to. Everybody can see right through this person, but they refuse to accept that. And I'm also hearing that judgment will begin to unfold when you start to communicate your truth. Now, it could be literal, or it could just speak about the energy in general. You start making moves, right? You start moving towards certain things, which is just a more complex way of speaking about standing in your power and charging towards your greatness. I just heard the portal is open for you right now. But this is why there's this increase in feeling attacked. Part of it has to do with these energies that are external to you, and part of it has to do with your own lack of self-confidence, which is all a byproduct of what you've been going through. And that's normal. You need to learn what it feels like to actually start succeeding. That sounds wild, right? But it's true. When you go through so much struggle and so much pain, happiness and success can begin to feel foreign to you. But it doesn't mean that it's not meant for you. It just means that you need to recognize what it is you've been going through and understand that your time there has come to an end. You're not meant to stay there. There's a stubborn energy here that won't leave you alone. It's time to start making moves. What do we have at the third eye, please? High Priestess at the third eye in reverse, and the Eight of Swords at the crown in reverse. Pisces energy, Gemini energy. Now, the High Priestess here at this third eye position is a very strong message that is telling us that you are currently under divine guidance and you must follow the instruction that you're being given precisely. Because to slip back into old ways or to allow this energy here to get the best of you would be going against the divine's will for your life in this particular cycle. The portal is open for you, but because of your free will, you have to put one foot in front of the other and make it happen. You need to be strong. Don't allow yourself to be defined by all of the things you could have been. Go and get it and become them. This Eight of Swords at the crown is your liberation. This is you being set free from this cycle. It's over. The metaphorical prison cell door is open, but yet you're still sitting inside the cell. Walk out. Feel the sun on your face. Embrace the freedom and go and take what is rightfully yours and waiting for you. Don't allow this energy to keep you feeling restricted, powerless, or consumed by some sort of limiting beliefs that they were probably a part of projecting onto you to begin with. Overcome it. Power up. Move forward. Break the chains that bind. What do we have at the foundation, please? The Star. Aquarius energy. Gype. Right underneath the star. Wow. So we've gone through 1, 2, 3. Now on my fourth deck, and we get the star stacked with the star. You know what's interesting? The reading I put out before this, I got the star in the exact same position. The energy that I was feeling for this reading is very similar to the energy in the previous reading as well, which tells me that this is taking place collective-wide. It's not really zodiac specific. This could resonate with anybody. But these two star cards read very differently. This star card is read as a negative polarity. It's an energy that wants you to go ahead and hand over that purpose to them. You won't be needing that. In direct opposition with this star card in its positive polarity, you feel it, you sense it, you know it. It can't hide from you anymore. You're aware of what's been taking place here. It's been exposed. Something very sinister has been working through these individuals, something very dark. In my mind's eye, I'm seeing a beautiful woman. But when you flash the light on her in a particular angle, you can actually see the demon in her, and it's vile. The way she shows up in the material world isn't real. It's an illusion. What lurks beneath is something that you couldn't even possibly imagine. Looks something like this. I'm also hearing that there's something very masculine about this person, this woman. Take it as it resonates. Somebody who presents themselves as very holy and very sweet and wouldn't hurt a fly. But underneath it all, they're just this very wicked, very vile, very masculine in the way that they come against other people. It's very brutal. But this is what's being exposed about these people now. Their mask is being ripped off. People are starting to see how truly mentally ill this person is really what it comes down to. But it's untreated, right? You know, in some cases, people deal with mental illness and they're aware of it and they just kind of leave other people alone. But then there's people who have it, don't necessarily want to accept that they have it and that they need to take the necessary steps to treat it and instead come for the rest of the world because they feel so badly done by. They feel that they were given the short end of the stick, and because of this, everybody around them, everybody who comes into their life must suffer. But they do it in a way where they want to try and make everybody else question their own reality. The gaslighting, right? This is really what I'm getting here. What do we have at the sacral, please? Two of Cups, Cancer energy at the sacral. This person is very jealous of you. For some of you, this is a past ex. For others, it's a family member, friend, coworker. Take it as it fits. This person was given an opportunity to turn their life around, and I feel that they squandered it because they wanted to be the only one. They didn't want anybody else to do better. This is a hateful, jealous, envious, parasitical narcissist that just won't leave you alone. I feel that this person has been monitoring your life heavily for a very long time now. They think that they've gone unnoticed, but they've been sloppy. They've left a trail of breadcrumbs dating back a very long time, I feel. I feel that Spirit is trying to get you to look a little closer at some things. I feel that there's some evidence there that maybe you haven't noticed yet. You've probably just been too busy moving forward, but there's something about this now that I feel is going to bring some sort of closure. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? 5 of Cups, Scorpio energy at the solar plexus. Wow, what a card to follow everything I just said. So this card here is one of my narcissists, right? It's an energy that cannot come to terms of you being happy without them in your life, whatever that means for you. And it's interesting because for some of you, this is somebody who broke your heart, maybe left you in the dust, however that shows up for you, let you down, right? But now it's like they're coming back to the scene of the crime because they realize that maybe they made a mistake. But rather than doing the right thing, it's like they're trying to double down and put you away for good. So they don't have to have a constant reminder of everything that is ugly and broken inside of them. They're starting to realize that they might have quite possibly taken a wrong turn somewhere back there. And now because they've done the most, there's just no way back. 5 of Wands stacked with the 5 of Cups. A very heavy, harsh energy. And it's right there at the solar plexus. So all of their attacks, every weapon that they formed against you, you have taken, transmuted it, and become stronger for it. Brilliant. You figured it out. Spiritual attacks you can actually use to level up, to empower yourself, to become stronger. You knew that eventually you would get to the other side. And when you did, this is bad news for them because it tells us that you overcame all the enemy's attacks. You understood that in order to level up to the capacity that you have, Spirit had to allow some of that to hit you. So you understood firsthand how to deal with it. Ah, yes, perfect. You understand the greater mechanics of how Spirit works. I feel that you have a very close relationship with Spirit. Spirit is with you, especially right now. As you're in the 11th hour of your next level up, you are being surrounded by guides, by angels, by the higher power, and they're preparing you. They are giving you access to truths that you were not aware of until now. What do we have at the heart, please? Wow. 10 of Cups. War and strife. So 10 of Cups, red in its negative polarity, is speaking about their plans having failed them. All these weapons weren't enough to stop you. They've thrown everything at you. They've got nothing left. This is why they're scrambling. The next move is all yours. They realize that as soon as you make that move, they will be checkmated. It's just a waiting game now. These people are dealing with horrendous stress, sleepless nights. Some of these people are drinking, doing drugs, doing whatever they can to numb the sense that there's some sort of spiritual violence that is getting ready to unfold in their lives. They feel it coming. They can hear the echo in the ethers of what's on approach. They know they've been caught. They know they've been sloppy. I see somebody in my mind's eye right now looking in the mirror, pulling their hair, saying to themselves, what were you thinking? Why did you do that? I'm also hearing somebody talking to one of these people saying, why didn't you just leave them alone? Ah, right underneath that hangman. So this can really speak about what I picked up earlier on in the reading about Spirit giving you a little insight, a little vision, a little message into what may be taking place in these people's lives. It's like you can feel it. You can taste it. I feel that a lot of you could be having a heightened sense of focus, a lot of downloads and messages coming through, so much so that you don't even know where to start. See, that's the thing. When you align in this capacity like you are here, you're being given access to all these different ways to move forward and be the vessel that you were always meant to be in this life cycle. In other words, you've been obedient. You have arrived. And because of this, you're being blessed. Ideas, creations, countless things that you can start applying to your path and to your life to build your own empire. This is what it means to be a chosen, enlightened individual that is walking with spirit and obedient to the mission. You are given access. You are given the keys to the kingdom that you are going to build while co-creating with spirit moving forward. And then we have the King of Pentacles, obedience. So follows exactly what I'm saying here. So here you are, king of your own kingdom, literally. Whatever that looks like for you, this is because you've been disciplined. It's not rocket science. Yes, it's not easy, but the human condition makes it very difficult for us to see what's right in front of us, what's right underneath our nose. We are conditioned to lie to ourselves. Man is cursed with ego. What do we have at the throat, please? Seven of Wands, Leo energy at the throat. Liberation. Deliverance from enemies, both visible and invisible. So confirming what I said about the principalities controlling these people. And the Seven of Wands right here is you overcoming all of these tactics, all of these weapons that they have formed against you to try and make you feel overwhelmed, to try and make you give up, to try and wear you down, try and make you feel like you're somehow disadvantaged. It's all been exposed. And look, here they are, right? Taking it to their grave, just like I said. The judgment angel's like, okay, well, that's the way you want it, then fine. We got a fresh, hot serving of karma just for you. But these weapons that you have formed against my chosen one are no longer effective. We see you. They see you. Everyone sees you. And that has become your truth. It's futile to try and mask who you really are or change your appearance, to try and hide from what you've done. We will always find you. Always. We know where you are right now. You cannot hide from spirit. Spirit is all around you. Spirit is the electricity between us all. Spirit is the flow in the ether. And the chosen one here is being given a front row seat to the greatest show on earth, your downfall. What do we have at the third eye, please? Wow. Your downfall, and what do we get? The Tower. Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy. Uriel, the fire of God. Disruptions. Disruption warns of disasters, aids in transformation. And see how, right? He's looking kind of angry. He just got a memo. This is you. Oh, you mean to tell me it was them the entire time? This is spirit providing you with this insight, giving you this front row seat to the greatest show on earth. The Tower, I mean, this is a complete destruction to this false security, this false narrative that this person has created for themselves surrounding their life. There is something huge that is getting ready to take place for you and them. I'm seeing the scales tipping in my mind's eye. Your level up is their complete ruin. Harmony, balance must be restored. They had their time, and now it's yours. Spirit watched, saw how they moved, saw how they got down while you suffered, while you clawed your way back out of the pit that they tried to leave you in. This person thinks that they can somehow avert this disaster from unfolding. Tick, tock. It's too close now. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. It's over. What do we have at the crown to close out the reading, please? Unbelievable. The star again. The star, the star, the star. Aquarius energy. Vesaria. God the just. Clemency and equilibrium. Protects against attacks. For those of you that have been truly putting the work in, or for those of you that aren't quite here yet but are preparing to put the work in, I can tell you right now without a shadow of a doubt, you have a tremendous amount of success, a tremendous amount of happiness that you are being given access to. But like all things, it takes some work. It takes a fight. But I truly believe that if you apply this reading like a kind of blueprint to what you may be dealing with in your life, you will break through. You will get to the other side. You will pull this off, whatever that means for you. It's yours by divine rights. but you got to go and get it. And on the way, you're going to have to take out some of these principalities because it's all a part of the mission. It's all a part of why you came here to begin with. You are a soldier of the light, and you are here to keep balance. But as long as you're walking with spirit, you have nothing to worry about. So go and take what is yours because it's waiting for you. And don't allow anyone or anything to tell you otherwise or stand in your way. Laugh in their faces and remember who you are and who you came here to be. All right, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video out, drop a heart in the comments if this feels like you. Turn on your notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.